Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. This is Biking Buddies, the motor vlog, and we're doing something completely different today in this week's upload. We are going to do trails in the dark. So I'm here at the meeting point, which is Stokesley Marketplace. The time is just coming up to about 6:45 in the evening, and we're right on the end of British summertime now before we drop into GMT. The sun has already set, so we've got a very westing sky with quite a bit of colour in it. That's probably going to last for about half an hour, 20 minutes, and then we'll be plunged into total darkness as we head over the hills into the North Yorkshire Moors National Park. So grab yourself a brew, grab yourself a beer, and come with me on this week's Trails in the Dark Biking Buddies upload. Let's roll VT.
Where do you go when you're young, when you're restless, when you're fun, cause you're desperate? Oh, here they come for a chance, for adventure. What's your poison, what's your pleasure?
Okay, so we are out of the blocks and we are away. Yes, as I said there in the open, there was literally about 10 minutes between that opening section and now, and we are almost completely dark. There's a little bit of very light hazy cloud, so that might just obscure a few of the stars a little bit later on for us. However, we are on a new moon, and those of you that are aware of what a new moon is, that means there is no moon at all tonight. So we should be about as dark as we can possibly be. So hopefully we'll get some good shots of the stars and just generally bikes that are with us, with 3 bikes up, myself included. So we've got John and we've got Cole out with us this evening for tonight's Jones. So one thing that springs to mind immediately on these road sections is the risk of deer strikes. We're right in that half light, kind of arguably just tipping past half light, and deer jumping in front of us is a very real and present danger. So there's not a vast amount that we can do about it really. In reality, you can't really see them as such, they just jump out the scenery at you, but it is something that I'm acutely aware of while we're in these road sections. And we're just climbing over the hill now on Captain Cook's. Is to our left, Captain Cook's Memorial Monument, and we're deep in the trees here. This really is deer strike country for sure. But one thing that is absolutely outstanding is how good are the headlights on this T7. They are incredible. I'm hoping that the GoPro is picking this up. Obviously it's not as good as the human eye, but yeah, main beam, dip beam, main beam, absolutely amazing. So we're literally just minutes away from our first trail. There's nothing auspicious in terms of the trails. There's nothing unduly challenging. The darkness itself will present that challenge, and it's incredible how your senses are very much focused basically on what we can see, which is not a vast amount, and how much you rely on your peripheral vision when you're just normal riding in the daytime. So yes, it is a bit of a game changer, this one, and even though we're going to do some very gentle trails as per daylight hours, I'm fairly sure that in the darkness they're going to turn out to be quite challenging indeed. So we're just on our first tiny little trail just to get us up here, and now we're working our way back down to pick the road section up. Those of you that know where we are, we're going to pop out on New Row, and yeah, just chatting there with John and Cole. And we were all saying how incredible it is, just, you know, how very different riding in the dark is. And whilst it's kind of common sense in a lot of ways, you'd think, well, riding in the dark, but you lose your peripherals, you lose your reference markers, kind of everything really, and it really does sharpen and focus you. I mean, normally you would skip along here and think absolutely nothing of it whatsoever, but today, yeah, even those puddle sections, it's it focuses your mind, that is for sure. But wowzers, I am so glad of the headlights on the T, that is for sure. The other bikes are Honda CRFs. I think it's a 350 and a 250 we got out with us, but yeah, certainly very interesting for sure. And because there's 3 of us, we're all experienced chaps, the gate duty is what it is, and we're just sharing that between the 3 of us. John through, Cole through, with the head torch on. Look at those lights on the T7, wow! Daylight! Of course, that's my night vision ruined now. Now let's follow Cole down through the trees. This is spectacular. DC, you were right. I mean, we are doing some open stuff, but coming down through the trees, this is amazing. Wow, this has suffered a lot with all of that heavy rain that we had recently. Blimey, has it suffered? Wow, that really has suffered. Unbelievable. Hope John's alright on that bit. And this certainly focuses the mind, that is for sure. As I was saying there, just in the openers, there's, you know, these are trails that in the daytime you would just breeze along here, kind of, you know, metaphorically speaking, with your eyes shut, as it were. But certainly in the dark, when all of the little potholes, they cast very long shadows, the rocks look twice the size, the ruts look twice as deep, the surface looks twice as rough. Yeah, it certainly does focus the mind. And I, for one, am very, very glad that I got some company this evening in John and Cole. Keep checking behind me that the boys are okay, which clearly they are. Extremely experienced riders, the pair of them. But it just heighten your senses a little bit, and just that notion of just making sure that everybody's okay, particularly on these darker sections. I guess because you lose your peripherals, you lose the ability to pre-plan. Whereas it's not too bad on the T7. I'm sure the human eye is picking up far more than the GoPro is. But just that ability to generally glance at the ruts, see what's ahead, pick your lane, pick your line, that is kind of stripped away from you to a larger degree. Of course, the water, you can't really see through the water anyway at the best of times. But it all just becomes that little bit more challenging. So, a little photo stop there. Now this is the, yeah, you see, that's the interesting bit when you just trail riding in the dark. It's even just finding the track is difficult. So yeah, we've got a very, very clear sky, some uber high level wispy stuff. So hopefully the GoPro shots, or the photographs that we took with the GoPro, hopefully they'll come out. Who knows? More suicidal rabbits there. These things are like homing beacons to the headlights. Look at him go. The saying is, rabbit in the headlights, and that is very, very true indeed. I think what's interesting with doing this is a ride that I've wanted to do for you know, a long time, over a year now, to be fair. And you know, for various reasons you don't do it, and then it ends up the winter months and it's bitterly cold. But certainly doing it now, just at the very end of British summertime, we can be out at a reasonable time, and those that know me will be familiar with the fact that I don't do late nights. So yeah, the fact that we're now showing what, just coming up to 8 o'clock in the evening, British summertime, is absolutely perfect for me. It means that we'll be back home done and dusted, hopefully by around that 10 o'clock mark. But yeah, this is certainly interesting. John was commenting there that you know, I was coming across saying to you guys on the video that how the little stones look like boulders, and the little dips look like massive potholes, etc. The ruts look deeper just with the shadows, and John was just reflecting exactly the same, that you're riding along and ordinarily you'd just be skipping along here, but just the way that the light gets thrown across the trail just puts a whole new dimension on things. Oh no, we're picking the road up soon, so I have just got to be a bit mindful of that. Ah, there we are. There we are. Nice huge reflective sign just to point me in the right direction, thankfully. Get a bit of a turn of speed up now. And here is said road section. Ah, that's not too bad at all. Superb, and we are down, all three of us. Excellent. Cole has definitely got the right idea with having a head torch on as well. So, a bit of road section to dispatch, and then we'll pick up the south end of the national park. And this sees us on the south side of the national park now. You will notice that we're just dropping down towards the infamous water crossing where there is a bridge. We'll most definitely be taking the bridge today, absolutely for sure. But you will notice that I'm in quite a high gear, and the bike is just generally just running down pretty much on tick over. I am just dabbing the brake a little bit more than I normally would. And the reason being is we are just passing a couple of residential properties here, so I've got to be very mindful, very respectful of the fact normally we'll be doing little airborne lofts off these drainage gullies, but not today. We're just taking it nice and easy and just being very respectful of the people that live in these places. Yeah, it is unusual for people to be trail riding in the dark, of course, but here we are, look, right outside somebody's house, and there's no reason to go by on anything other than tick over, really. Not even going to bother looking at the water today. Over the bridge. Yeah, we're all still here. And we're going to go up past the big house. Now, I've never been past the big house in the dark. It'd be interesting to see how much it's lit up. I think, from memory, somebody said it was Steve Gibson, some footballer or football manager or something, I'm not entirely sure. But whoever it is, they have certainly got a wodge of cash, because it ain't no small house. And here we are, I do believe. This is the start of the trail. Let's just quick flash the indicator so the guys know what we're doing. Yep, this is the start of the trail. So there's a few watery sections. It's an access road by the people that look after the woodland, land management. Do you know, everywhere just looks so different in the dark. Even they're just kind of questioning, thinking, am I on the right road? But yes, absolutely we are. These are the bits where you just can't quite, you can't see around the corners, obviously. The headlights only go where the bike's pointing. And here we go into the wooded section. This is just incredible. Absolutely loving this. This, wow, look at that, the lights of the bikes just reflecting off the trees. Unbelievable. If you get a chance to do this, I strongly suggest you do. Just something inauspicious, trails that you're familiar with, but it trails in the dark. It is absolutely fantastic. All good? Okay. And the last stretch, which is Rudland Rig. Rudland Rig back home. So this one is completely inauspicious, as we know. Got to watch out for the sheep. Couple of deeper puddles perhaps. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Certainly coming off the top, I'm looking forward to that. Just looking down across the Tees Valley and out towards the Pennines with all the lights will be twinkling away. So we're making fairly short work of this Rudland Rig, that is for sure. We're just coming up to the dip now where the bridge is. Tripsail to our left and Bloworth crossing directly in front of us. It's been a nice smooth run across. A couple of little wet bits as you've seen, but nothing too dramatic. And I must admit, just the report back sit rep, the headlight on this T7, wow, it is just absolutely incredible. I know that the GoPro will be diluting that quite significantly, but I can literally see all the way through the bridge up towards the climb of Bloworth. It is just absolutely superb. What a piece of kit, and it is bog standard factory as well. So yeah, really pleased with that, really pleased. So here we are, the climb up to Bloworth. Can't for 1 second imagine anybody being up here, apart from if there are any long distance walkers doing any of the many challenge walks that cross over this point. It's normally in the wee small hours of the morning that they would be crossing. There's the obligatory puddle. And we're all still with us, yep. So the next bit is where we breach over the top and we start to look down towards the Durham Tees Valley. This is just really, really, seriously, really focuses your mind, that is for sure. And of course the trouble is those little crests that we've just seen there, you can't actually see over the top of them because it's just a shadow of blackness. One of the many standing stones here always look like people just stood. You try not to overthink it too much, it can get quite eerie. And the guys are still with us, yes, of course they are. And here we are, just getting our first glimpses of the little outlying villages before Teesside will hove into view as it's doing now. What an absolutely incredible view. And I guess with the headlights scattering down on the road in front of us, then the GoPro is probably just pulling all of that out and you can't actually see, which will, you know, who knows, if you can see then fantastic, but what a view indeed, that is incredible. And certainly on a clear night tonight, all of the lights are just twinkling away as we work our way across this very lonely barren moor top. You wouldn't want to be up here on your own, broken down inclement weather, absolutely not. And here we are cresting over just before we make our final descent down now. Absolutely superb. What a brilliant ride this has been. Relatively short in terms of time and distance. I think we were about 50 miles up, something like that, 40 odd 50 miles, don't know. And probably about 2.5 to 3 hours by the time we're done. What time is it now? 20 past 9. So yeah, we're going to be about 3 hours dead by the time we're back at the starting point. I'd like to say a massive thank you to John and to Cole for coming out. Superb. Just 3 is, I think, the perfect number for this kind of ride. So we're just tumbling off the top now, as you can see. We do pick up the steeper descent once we lose the national trail of the Cleveland Way, which we're just about to do now. That bears off to our right. Adios. Instantly the track changes, as you can see, and this is part of the unsurfaced road network that we're on, and one of the many descents that we have that certainly keep you focused as we drop fairly steeply up the top. So just around the obelisk section now, across the as what was sandstone steps, just little sandstone outcroppy bits now, not steps as such. Here they are, a couple of them, and then a few more just off this brow in front of us, and we drop down to the gate into the woods. We'll be out of the wind then. Here we go, just over these drops. Now there are a lot of deer in these woods, I do know that. This is a wood that I have secreted the overnight camera, the action camera, the wildlife cam, and yeah, it definitely did capture quite a few deer mooching around in the woods. And there's our gate, perfect. I shall get the gate, do the dutiful thing. Yeah, hopefully we'll see this tiny little mouse there, little field mouse. Look at him go, there he is. Tiny little fella, back in the light, off he goes. Superb. And the very last little trail section down through the trees past Bankfoot Farm. Again, just being respectful of the properties. Cole's nipped off ahead, he's going to get the gate for us. There he is. And here we are, end of our off-road bits. And that's the 3 of us, myself, Cole, get in the gate, And John in front there, superb. Okay then folks, so we are done and dusted back where we started in Stokesley High Street. So if you have stuck with me to the end, and thank you very much for your company, I hope you enjoyed that. It was something very, very different than the norm. So will I do that again? Well, yeah, most likely. I thoroughly enjoy that. Just the whole challenge element, everything changes, your perception changes. Obviously you lose your peripheral vision, and it certainly keeps you focused, that is for sure. Yeah, so the final thing for me to say to you guys, as always, wherever you are in the world guys, whatever you're doing, enjoy your ride, keep it safe, keep it shiny side up, and we will catch you for the next one. Cheers folks, bye now, bye.